How well does Endresult balance its HP inflation? Well, I did some practical tests, so you might want to hear me out. Greetings, Proxy. This will be the first time you hear about me covering a larger topic such as how well ZZZ's HP inflation is balanced in the endgame. Or is it more than just HP inflation we have to consider at the end of our evaluation? I am not the type who will go over spreadsheets, graphics, any kind of calculations or drama, but will showcase the game's dynamic and gameplay from the perspective of 3 account level stages in a practical manner. That means I will run through Shiyu defense and deadly assault in our current patch 2.2 with my account on my best agents and gear, my account but nerfed without my best agents, another account with level 40 to 50 agents. The goal for this video is to present actual footage with practical examples to compare different account levels and how well they can succeed in our current endgame modes of ZZZ 2.2. I'm sure I don't have to tell anyone about the factual increase of HP, defense, resistances or anomaly buildups. Every single gacha game on the market will undergo the same principle, adapting the endgame with the release of new, stronger characters. Nobody should be surprised about that, but some games do it better or worse. Curiosity on my end led to this video format, which I might continue for each new patch cycle in the future. Depends on you and your interest as well, dear Proxy. At the end of this video, I will present a resume about our results. Without further ado, let's jump right into the showcases. On the first instance, let's take a look at my best agents with the best gear. I'll keep this segment shorter since the result will be obvious. Still, we require the data for our comparison later on. For additional info and transparency towards you, my dear Proxy, I am a daily player who does spend money on ZZZ, which is the only gacha game I currently play. Plus, as the owner of the Battle Hub Discord server, the official English ZZZ PvP server, I create but also take part in different endgame challenges with an awesome community supporting the same interest. So I might know a thing or two, probably. Anyways, as you see, I cleared all 3 stages without any issues. Those fights were done with less than 2 to 3 tries and without breaking a sweat. My teams use their class or elemental advantage on each stage and of course share a great team synergy next to having multiple mindscapes or high farm disk drives. Quick summary, as a Korin main player, I generally love to play here with M1 Astra and silly M1 Fufu. Thanks to having Fufu in my team, I am able to give Korin more crit rate substats since True Fufu buffs us with crit damage. Next team is a super funny one I recently started playing. M2 Kitty with Nicole and M1 Trigger. But Blood, didn't you say you used your best agents? Where's Miyabi and such? Well, bold of you to assume that Neko isn't one of my best agents. My 28,000 points without hard trying are really bad against Priest. I know, I'm sorry. It should have been over 30k at least to clarify that. Maybe next time. My third team packs a good punch. My M0 chain with signature, with Vivian M0 no signature, get hard carried by my wonderful cheeky Yusuhar M2. And blood damn, I love her M2 with the extra chain attack. Main reason why I got her M2 in the first place. Here at the end you find the total score of my whole DA cycle that left me on the top 2.54% of the player base. Told ya, Korin and Neko are the next meta generation. Jokes aside, and to be more serious again. Of course, this score represents my account state that is buffed with spending money, but also with me playing it regularly and knowing how to play, minus some skill issue moments. That concludes the Deadly Assault part. Let's quickly hover over Shiyu defense that actually uses 2 of my DA teams.
Hit him where it hurts.
I have nothing more to add. Alright, on to stage 2. We will nerf my teams, which means not using any of the big 4, Astra, Yusuha, Miyabi or Yishuan, who I don't have anyway, but also partially not using the signature weapons of a few agents I select. In addition, I won't use my best disc sets as well in a few instances. That will be sufficient enough to be as close as possible to the average account that plays CCC regularly, which doesn't hard drill the mines in the deep dark hollows for optimal discs. At this point, we will see some interesting but also logical results. Compared to using my best teams and gear, we already can see a difference in damage output. No surprises there if we use simple math. To get even remotely close to my previous times and scores, I would have to put in way more effort and find the perfect rotation with my team. On top of clean gameplay, that is. But we are not doing that. We want to base our testing on my regular, non-try-hard gameplay. Let's start with our new epic boss, the Defiler. And yes, you heard right. I love the Defiler as a game boss with all her mechanics, contrary to many other players. It's just my opinion, by the way. In case you're interested in details, I have shared my thoughts and impression in our podcast YouTube channel, Outpost Investigators Podcast. Feel free to take a peek as we talk about each new DA and Shiyu cycle and general topics regarding Zenless Zone Zero. Back to the showcase. My nerf team with Corrin, Pulchra and Caesar has a pretty good rotation baseline. This team feels particularly smooth and easy thanks to Caesar providing her shield to Corrin, who is played on field while Pulchra stands in the background. Still, compared to my prior team, Pulchra's and Caesar's kit provide less buffs that ultimately leads to a lower total score against the Defiler. Yet we still got the 20k even with a few oopsies, and it was on my first try again. Mind you, Corrin uses Neko engine that is already on P3. On P1, you would have less room for arrows to get the same score, and of course, the lower we would go engine-wise, the harder it would be, but still not impossible. Next, I decided to go with Lucy, Piper and Vivian against Fiend. Vivian is on M0 and without a signature, as we have seen before in the stat showcase. This stage heavily favors Anomaly, especially with the physical and ether element. And well, even there, within my first run, I got the 3 stars with 23,000 points. Compared to my premium team that got around 20k more, but that is due to Yusuha being on Mindscape too. Replacing her with Lucy would easily get me 35 to 40,000 points with Piper. Now, if we give that team to someone like Nats, you bet he would reach around 50k points, as between me and him there is a huge skill gap, just for visualization and comparisons. Last team will be a funny one. I chose to hardcap me on A-Rank NB, Nicole and Nekomata M2. Neko actually on her best gear. Guess who suddenly got only 2 stars after trying a few times to get the 3 against Priest?
Well, bold of you to assume that Neko isn't one of my best agents.
When my own words suddenly bite me. But that is absolutely fine and a perfect example if we talk about agents' kits. If I changed NB with Pulchra, the 3-star would be way easier to achieve, while I would have to try longer using NB, simply because NB doesn't provide any team buffs, sadly. Therefore, I will leave that example and finish this DA test ground with my nerfed agents and teams. Result 8-star Deadly Assault, perfectly fine to grab all Polychrome rewards as a side note. Alright, how about some surprising Shiyu defense results? I wanted to try one of my first ever teams when starting the game. Jingi, Nicole and Shu Yuan. By now, Jingi is M1 after her rerun banner. On the second side, I went along with our trustworthy SUC team, Lucy, Piper and Bernice. And well, since I don't want to drag the video, I will say right away that my heavily nerfed Shu Yuan team had a really bad time against the specialized assault bomber. After a few tries of just A-ranking stage 7, I gave Shu Yuan her best available gear, including her signature. Still, I couldn't clear on S-rank with my SUC team afterwards, and well, considering my experiences in the past, this was a first, but there's plenty of reasons as to why. Before that, Shu Yuan was able to kill a boss in 1 or 2 stun windows easily. So, what are the current reasons? Enemy is electric weak and ether neutral. Certain enemy movesets makes it stun and anomaly immune for a short period. Shiyu buffs only enhance electrical and physical damage, which means Shu Yuan receives the 10% attack class buff only. Higher HP on bosses, not upgraded disc drives on Shu Yuan, skill issue from not playing youth team in a long time. Even though the skill issue part is relative, as I let 2 other people test the same or similar team comp. Sevadra and Softy Mage had similar results and I was just 9 seconds off for my S rank. We will take this result and change teams therefore. Let's go with Haramasa M0, Trigger M1 and Chingy M1. All of them are pretty much on my best gear. That way we now receive more Shiyu buffs plus have elemental advantage. The only thing that holds me back here is my really bad gameplay with Haramasa. And voila, 2 minutes into the bomba, thus follow up with the kill against Hugo. 4 minutes 44 seconds noted. Later after recording, I found out that I played Lucy with a messed up disc set. Professionalism in its finest, blood damn it. Part 3. You probably have asked yourself how I will fight with level 40 or level 50 agents. Well, funny thing is, I won't. He will.
Hey, Proxy, Zenpai here.
Let me introduce you to Zenpai, our dear down bad boo who can be pretty intelligent and knowledgeable about the game if his mind is not distracted by some random bunny. His account sets a solid example for low-level players, since he not only uses just level 40 to level 50 agents, but he has skill issue on top of that. The perfect combination to round up our analysis. You might as well go to his YouTube channel and subscribe, since he creates high-quality videos for his community next to absolute gooner stuff like his first rap, Sunnybex, which apparently was mixmastered by me. He also owns a Discord server in which I am his right-hand man. Our left hand? Whatever hand he doesn't use for editing. Moving on! The first boss he tackled was Priest, with a very interesting team combo of Yanagi M0, Yuzuha M0 and Vivian M0. Excuse me, what? Was my actual first reaction, since Priest is a boss that favors attackers, and he cleared Priest with an underleveled anomaly team on top of that. But it wasn't easy for him and it came with plenty of do's and tries. He also tried Priest with Yishuhan beforehand but couldn't clear with his current roster. Enclosed you can find a few notes he left for us regarding that. Of course, his agents builds are quite interesting to see, since all his anomaly DPS use 32% pen ratio. Well, if you seek knowledge, then I heavily advise to watch his big brain videos. Next one will be Fiend vs M0, Alice, M0 Jane and M0 Astra. Double physical anomaly seems to work well enough with Astra's buff. Yet again, his gear choices are more interesting compared to his gameplay. While Astra is pretty basic, Jane uses Fusion Compiler and receives 35% pen ratio in total with the given disc set. We also find Vivian with the pen ratio build as well and a pretty solid AP base. Apparently, this team didn't took too many tries to successfully clear Fiend on 3 stars. For the last Deadly Assault test, we come back to the Defiler once more. A close run with 20k, but it has a catch. Level 1 trigger. Honestly, at that point, Zenpai is absolutely trolling. What he lacks with a certain amount of skill issue, by the way, we both say that, no harm to our little bangbu, he compensates with deep in-game math knowledge and adapted agent builds for his lower level agents, primarily with pen ratio as it has more value damage-wise compared to regular attack, in most cases for level 40 to 50 agents. Here again, a quick scroll with his notes. Lastly, we got another commission in Shiyu defense again. On the left screen we have his Shiyu 6 run, while 7 will be played on the right. If we summarize his success here, it took him quite some time and test runs to find the right teams, thus he tried different disc sets as well as he mentioned in his notes. Playing underleveled in Shiyu can get more difficult compared to the A. Not always, but sometimes. More often it is due to the Shiyu buffs that recently seem to shield certain classes a bit too much. We will talk about that a bit more later. For now, let's quickly showcase his team stats he used for clearing all of Shiyu defense with S rating.
Yanagi, awaiting orders.
Phew, finally done with that part. Only thing left to do is to analyze our results we have gathered. Before that, I want to emphasize one thing. All this testing we have done is by no means a super exact research project. After all, we have not used all agents from the roster, we have not used literally every single game factor that determines a match result, including you, the player, your skill and knowledge level. What we can do is to create a hollow framework which can be stabilized with 5 of the most important game pillars. Therefore, I will evaluate the endgame balance of zzzero patch 2.2 with an easy to comprehend score system based on our results and the 5 pillars. Side note, I will use a metric from 1 to 10. 1 stands for not balanced at all, 10 represents perfectly balanced. Pillar 1. The polychrome reward accessibility in ZZZ is generally easy to reach for either Shiyu defense or deadly assault. In the A specifically 6 stars, which is a huge plus point. Even for endgame modes like the battle tower where the polychromes are locked behind the first 15 floors. Easy 10 points if we include our test results. Pillar 2. Clearing the endgame with A ranks, lower level agents or the so-called weak agents is still possible in 2.2 as we have seen in the video before. Do you have to invest a bit more resources and time to make them work? Obviously, yes. But that doesn't devalue the fact that they can clear our current endgame with all the inflations on HP, resistances or anomalies we have received. Factoring in the strongest, Miyabi is still on top of all other current available agents, which means no one has dethroned or power crept her therefore. This is good to clarify and emphasize Zenless power play stage. I prefer to focus more on combining agents with weak and strong kits since it works wonderfully and is the typical approach of most players if we generalize. It is absolutely fine if Astra Yao elevates agents like Anton, Corin or Neko, just to give one example. All in all, 9 points out of 10 for category 2. Pillar 3. In this particular case, I won't go into details about the free-to-play and spender gap as it is self-explanatory and basically counts for all types of players I recite below. Irregular rare visitors will find the endgame rather difficult due to the lack of practice and know-how. Even if they know other gacha games that share similarities to ZZZ, the combat of our game goes deeper than even some daily regulars would expect. So, if they have difficulties with clearing, then their complications are valid, supported by logical reason. In case of having meta characters, they might find success after a few sessions of button mashing with agents like Miyabi for example. But in the end, endgame should be there to give a challenge to regular and sweaty players. Casual gamers. Oh boy, this will activate some people. What is a casual gamer? I asked Google cause the internet is always right. Right? A casual gamer is someone who plays video games occasionally and for the enjoyment, rather than dedicating significant time or effort to mastering the games. Casual gamers typically prioritize fun and relaxation over intense competition or skill development. Basically, regarding endgame, casuals will also have a harder time. They might rather skip Shiyu or DA if too hard, or just try it once and grab what they can get. Totally fair, honestly, since endgame rewards are lower than most event and story rewards. Daily regulars are those who play daily. Well, I mean, they are regularly playing the game. Who would have thought? Seriously now, they are those who complete all events and fully play the game because they enjoy it or simply want all the gacha rewards. That includes endgame. They will give their fair share of tries to beat it and will most likely success without bigger issues. Me and my wonderful testers fall into this category, which means we can highly connect this to our test runs, even though we sometimes become sweaty gamers. And I hope they shower daily. Their main goal is to speedrun and kill. With recent updates, the developers made it harder, but therefore more rewarding, for those who manage a DA boss kill or clear Shiyu 7 in under 1 minute on both stages. But some sweaty gamers did complain about not being able to kill anymore with low-cost teams. With all this in mind, 7 points for category 3. Pillar 4. Stage buffs on Shiyu and Deadly Assault, aka evil shield buffs. Important, boss mechanic buffs not included. Recently, Zenless has the habit of implementing more aggressive shield buffs that lean towards current running agents, to a point where plenty players, even in my circles, started to openly share their valid opinion and concern. Plus, on some occasions, the remaining 2 DA buffs or secondary Shiyu buffs have been rather lackluster on top of that. 6 out of 10 balance points for this patch 2.2. Pillar 5. Agent class favoritism / handicap. More and more new bosses receive specialized weaknesses or resistances separating the classes attacker and anomaly. Not only that, since there is a constant suspicious pattern of bosses that we can't freeze anymore. Still, we have to look at how well non-effective matchups clear the endgame. Surprisingly, pretty well. And we have proof if we look at Zenpai's priest run, but also Sevadra, Softy Mage and me have challenged the Defiler with Miyabi, Bernice and Yusuha. We all cleared with ease. Even Sevadra and Softy using M0 Miyabi and M0 Yusuha. Within our current running tournament, there are draft matches often played against the class effectiveness with decent success as well. Therefore, 8 points for balancing. Which leaves us with a total score of 40 points with all 5 pillar scores added together. Divided by 5, Zenless Zone Zero's patch 2.2 receives an average cumulated score of 8 out of 10 balance points. A very solid result considering all the factors we have seen and discussed. My prior gut feeling before calculating the evaluation estimated 8 too, while Zenpai and Sevadra choose 7. Now I'm curious what they will post in the comment section. By the way, Proxy, feel free to use the 5-pillar system as well and post your total score in the comments below. Reminder, 1 stands for not balanced at all, while 10 represents perfectly balanced, all in regards to ZZZ's endgame. After all, as much as I try to be objective, there is always a hint of personal opinion beneath the surface. What I would like to do is taking each of our score into a bigger chart and find out what we collectively think about, listen closely, ZZZ's patch 2.2 endgame balance. I emphasize again, consider patch 2.2 only into your calculation. I will show the result in the upcoming report for patch 2.3. While creating the script and me being busy in real life and helping with the ZZZ tournament in our Discord server, the video kinda came out way later than I wanted it to be, which is why I have only recordings of the first DA and Shiyu in the 2.2 patch. After that, most people mentioned it was easier and many were happy with seeing Pompeii or UCC again. Oh, also, the video idea and preparation was shortly before the big discussion with ALG and other content creators, just for transparency. As for the future, well, 2.3 will introduce us to many changes with the new Rupture agents. Considering the collective community worries around HP inflation, anomaly inflation and the upcoming defense inflation, the shield buffs and so on, plenty players and content creators have shown their concerns and opinion many times over the internet. You, as a regular player, can do that too, but more efficient and direct towards the ZZZ devs by filling out the regular patch surveys. It takes roughly 5 to 10 minutes or a bit more if you're dedicated enough to summarize a detailed opinion. I do it every time as well, and bet some of my past suggestions have been fulfilled by now. Remind yourself one thing: drama, hate, and complaining only brings views to the media sources using your emotions, thus dividing communities. Constructive criticism, open listening, evaluating different opinions or POVs without hating or rage baiting leads to improvements and forms a healthy community. I prefer the latter. Many of my wonderful people know that we just vibe, enjoy the game, yet look closely and give prompts and suggestions to the devs or the players. Well, if you want to be a part of this kind of community, feel free to join either my 2 Discord servers or Zenpai's. I will link all 3 in the description below with a quick summary of what each server does or focus on. But just a little heads up. If you are a hater or troublemaker, we will ban you instantly. This is the end of my report. I want to thank all those who supported me with this video, from Zenpai providing me gameplay footage and crafting the thumbnail to Sevadra and Softy Mage joining me to test some runs, which they have sent to me as well. All 3 of them have shared their opinion over many discussions, which I considered throughout writing my script as well. They all have their own YouTube channels, check them out and subscribe to them. This little gesture will make them happy. Generally, all sources and mentions will be collectively noted down in the description below. Thanks to you too, Proxy, for listening all the way through. If you want to watch my future analyzation videos, you might want to subscribe to get notified when I drop the next results of my report for patch 2.3. This time, hiring an editor. God damn it. Cheers to all, yours truly, Thirsty Blood.